Hey y'all, I'm Karen Mayer Cunningham, the special education boss. If you've ever felt confused, overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated at the 504 IEP table, you are in the right place. Every week, I'm breaking down the rules, the rights, and the realities of special education so you can walk into meetings informed, empowered, and ready to make real change. And whether you're a parent, a teacher, an advocate, a school-based member, or somebody who's just trying to do right by a student, this podcast gives you straight talk, real answers, and tools that you can use immediately. I'm not here to play politics. I'm not here to play sides. I'm here to train people who sit at the table and teach you how to follow the law, ask the right questions, and protect the rights of students. So go ahead and hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change. We're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody.
Guess who's back? We are back. We are so back. Is that what you say? Do you say we're so back? I think you say that. You're so back. Yeah, we just got back and off the road from the inaugural Epic IEP World Book Tour. It was amazing. It was freezing. It's very cold in other cities and states. I don't know if you guys knew that. So I think cold is like 71. I think cold is like 71. These states were not 71. They were 28. I don't know where you live, but 28 it's a good number. Not for temperature though. Not for temperature. So we wanted to visit with you guys, tell you how amazing it was. We're logging onto the gram as well, if my phone will be nice to me. It says that it has enough willpower. There's Jerry Brooksman. How are you? We were in Lexington, love. Is it always snowing there every winter? Every winter? Because every winter is cold. So let's see if he'll join us. Let's see if he will. Okay, let's see if I can get the other one going. Yeah, we had so much fun. We had 8 stops in 5 days, 5 3-hour trainings, 1 book signing at Barnes & Noble, 2 professional developments, and a partridge in a pear tree. A lot of animals that have passed away on the road in the eastern Kentucky. And I would like to say the deer that you have there are like the size of camels. They're ginormous. But we had a good time. We definitely had a good time. Lots of people, lots of fun. It was cold and a lot of snow. Yeah, a lot of snow. And then your snow refreezes, which then makes it, what's the word I'm looking for? Dangerous, right? Yeah, it was a learning curve for us for sure. Yes, so we're gonna take your questions. What is that? Oh, this is Tropical Punch. Such a good color. MAC. I think it's one of Coach Drigger's favorites. All right, we got the Instagram up. Let's see if we can get them both rolling. Okay, questions? You guys have questions? I know it does match my shirt, doesn't it? I was very traumatized today, Shannon. I logged onto my first IEP meeting, and I hear the sound of my earring fall. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know what you do when your earring falls, don't we? We, obviously the back's not working, so we had to take the back of a pencil and then, sacrifice it for the love of a backing of an earring. So if you ever lose the back of your earring, just bite or cut the end off an eraser. It's the best earring back ever, ever, ever. I know, that's what I said. Oh no. Like I can't function without my watch and an earring on. But I jumped to my feet quickly and found it under my chair. And all was well with the world. All right, let me see if I can start the other one. Why isn't everything on the same spot everywhere? That would make it so much easier. Okay, and of course Instagram has to have a totally different color. Okay, so let's see if we like, just we're gonna vote. So this is the white background, and then this is blue. But it really looks purple, doesn't it? And then this is green. Nobody wants green. And then this is, it's red, but it kind of looks pink, right? So we'll just put it back on blue. Blue is my favorite. So if you guys have questions, just drop them in. I will try to answer them. I'm going solo Vista tonight, so I will answer them as quickly as I can. Can you recommend a decision-making tree to help move students through the tier system? Yeah, let's get rid of the tier system. Yeah, so OSEP, Office of Special Education Programs, wrote a letter to state education agencies in 2011. I'm good. How are you guys? And it said, hey, state education agencies, Department of Education, do not be out here in these streets doing RTI, SST, MTSS in lieu of special education testing. They gave us a first grader about 3 months ago. He is nonverbal and hits staff and climbs tables. So he probably needs some more support. Yep. So it was so fun going on tour with you guys. I didn't realize how much talking wears out your voice. I have a meeting coming up. They keep sending my son home because behavior, throw up excuses. So every time they send your child home, what do we call that? A suspension. A suspension. My autism nonverbal was smacked by his para. What should I do? I would call Child Protective Services immediately. Can a sub without certification take over a special education classroom with students with IEPs? No. If an OT is absent, often sickness, etc., are the children owed the missed minutes? Absolutely. If your child misses their related service minutes, then, usually the district or city or county will try their best to make them up, but there's no obligation. But if the provider misses the minutes, they have to make them up. Us to retrain, what can we do? It's a teacher and paras in the room. We probably need a different setting for him if he's not successful. How do I ask about the fidelity of my son's IEP? I've been asking his teacher and his speech therapist, but been given vague answers. Yeah, I would call an IEP meeting. And get those answered. So I'm going to have Shannon, can you get one of y'all to jump over into IG? There's a lot of questions in IG. We'll try to answer them quickly. Thoughts on changing of LRE from 50 to a 52 due to extreme behavior? I mean, the LRE is the LRE, so that's the place that we can maximize outcomes. And if it has to be a more supported setting, then it has to be a more supported setting. Thoughts on, let's see. I have so many thoughts. Yes, we were not here last night. Yes, you can still get the book everywhere books are sold. I think this is our 8th week and #1 bestseller on Amazon, so thanks you guys. And thanks for sharing it. My district in New York insists that students receive Tier 3 before referral help. Yeah, so January 2011, OSEP, January 2011, Office of Special Education Programs, says none of that's a requirement. So if we suspect a disability, we're obligated to test. We're obligated to ILE, identify, locate, and evaluate students with suspected disabilities who may be in need of special education and related services. Yeah. Okay, my only change because TRO emailed superintendent, admin did nothing. Yeah, we have to make sure that we implement the IEP with fidelity. I'm just looking for a link. So, let's see. All right. Should consult social work services be considered? Should consult social work services be considered first before direct if that's least restrictive environment? Also, are crisis response minutes considered consult minutes? So, related services have nothing to do with LRE. Related services have nothing to do with the least restrictive environment. So, an OT service is provided in the general ed setting or in a special ed setting, depending on what the student needs. When we talk about LRE, we're talking about implementing IEP goals. We're talking about where do we deliver his English, his math, his social studies, his science. So, consult is not a service to a student. consult as adults talking to each other. So if the student solely has OT on a consult basis, then you would need to D&Q him. Because if you qualify for special education and related services, you qualify for special education and related services, not the adults. I started the book today, super excited to see how it can make me better at the IEP table. Oh, good, awesome. I'm in California. They told me intervention can't be added to the IEP. Is that true? No. We're coming to San Francisco the last weekend in April. One-to-one pair being required to care for other children besides the one-on-one. Is that legal? No, it would deny the schedule of services page. How quickly can the LRE be changed? I have a student who's falling behind in general ed. It can be changed as quickly as we have an IEP meeting. Yep, so we have exciting news. We were just in Lexington and Ohio and West Virginia, and we are having a live 2-day in-person May. Let me just check, because you know sometimes I say things and they're not accurate. Not very often. Not about special ed anyway. So we're having a live 2-day in-person in Lexington, Kentucky, May 30th and 31st. So if somebody will put that in the chat, Shannon, if you'll put that in the chat, or Angie. So we're having a live 2-day in-person in Lexington, Kentucky, which is right in the middle of so many things. It's a couple hours from Nashville, Ohio, all the places. So it's right in the middle. So we're excited about that. We'll have limited seating. So if you want to get registered, just let us know and we will get that sent to you. A live 2-day in-person in Lexington, Kentucky, May 31st and 30th. Any Michigan stops soon. As soon as Michigan defrosts, because I think Michigan's colder than Kentucky. I'm drowning with behaviors. I have 19 students and 1 para. Yeah, you got to get help from your principal. I have proof that the special ed teacher is not certified. How should I proceed? So I would ask the principal to make sure that we have a credentialed person in that role. Depending on their response, I would write a state complaint for the IEP not being implemented as agreed upon. I'm being told I have to collect weeks and weeks of data to change LRE despite years of data. Yeah, when somebody tells you something goofy, just say, can you please provide me that statute in writing by close of business. School psych only tested 2 Gs, even though we requested all 7 because our child is nonverbal. That is amazing, isn't it? So when I get to the table for the IEP evaluation meeting, I would say, would you be opposed to opening the IEP evaluation and doing an addendum so we can have all 7 Gs? And I would ask for the lighter 3 or the unit. Let's see. 2-day live, May 30th and 31st, Lexington, Kentucky. Where will your training in Kentucky be? It is at the place that it's at. So it is at a conference center in Lexington. So we will have that link for you. Just send us an email. We'll get you on the email list. I don't remember the exact name of it, so I would hate to say it and then be wrong. Oh, this is why I don't touch buttons. Okay. But yeah, you can still get the book wherever books are sold. We have a couple of books that are ready now. We have the Epic IEP federal law book and state guidelines. So it is a book that outlines the important parts of IDEA in a concise way, and then it also has a crosswalk for all 50 states. Hoping we're out of school by then. We have 6 makeup days. Ooh, we'll just skip the makeup days. Yeah, and it's a Saturday, Sunday. Refusing to put 1 in. Yeah, well, you have to put 1 in. If not, then you're denying FAPE. Thank you for what you do. Thank God I don't have to deal with IEP meetings at the school anymore. They can be stressful, right? They can be really, really stressful. They don't have to be, but grateful for those with more knowledge than I. Oh, well, we are here to help people that want to get the IEP process right for kiddos. So you can still get this book anywhere books are sold. School's been remote for a week due to pipes breaking. Can students get back minutes if remote? Yeah, so I would never agree to remote services. So if somebody tries to make you sign that, that's not codified at the state or federal level. So be sure when you're writing an IEP that you're not agreeing to something that's not legal. So when schools read that off and they say, oh, our district makes us do that, and I just say, well, that's fine. But this parent wouldn't be agreeing to remote services. This parent wouldn't be agreeing to a reduction of their IEP. We are blessed if we get the IEP, but we're certainly not going to reduce it. What about e-learning days? E-learning days are not under IDEA. And education is a state issue, it's not a federal issue. So you have to remember IDEA is a federal and a justice issue. I'm allergic to e-learning days. Months of documentation, written emails, finally hired help. Awesome, awesome, awesome. If you have questions on IG, just let us know. Student still only receives 20/90 required minutes. I'm tired. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Alyssa Dawn, for being part of the fan club. Thanks, you guys, for all the gifts. What if a teacher has a internship certificate in a SPED program? You're either a certified special educator or you are not credentialed for that role. There's no such thing as an intermittent special education, blah, blah, blah. There are some requirements for international teachers, and that goes through your state agency. Quarter tests for students in elementary are okay to be given from a teacher not certified in SPED. Quarter test, and I'm not sure what a quarter test is. Interesting, we're told we have to have a statement in the LRA for e-learning days in Minnesota. Yeah, that's if the parent agrees to e-learning days. I don't ever agree to my student with a disability, their IEP being implemented at his home, because nobody's coming to my house giving them special ed minutes, so that would be illegal. I love your content. Thank you. I have 19 students in a pre-K classroom, 6 are high needs, 1 SPED pair, we are drowning. Yeah, you got to get more help. Any suggestions, advice for limited accessibility for VI students? Well, I mean, obviously, that's one of the reasons we don't do e-learning, right? We need to have those services implemented with fidelity in the school. We wrote the IEP for the school, not for your living room. Yeah. So when somebody says we have to have e-learning days, I would just say, this parent declines e-learning days. Should the district close for any reason, the parents are amenable to a different platform for the student to receive the totality of their IEP. Yep. Mm-hmm. If a parent doesn't want staff to retain when needed, but very much needed, what can we do? So retention is a administration decision between parent and admin. What is the cost for the live 2-day in person? It is $12.97. We have been closed all week, looking for another week for remote learning. Kids are struggling. I'm sure that they are, but you can't implement an IEP over the computer. You just can't. Loved working with VI. Once got a student with a goal, improve their sight within 2 feet. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you go into somebody's computer in their living room and implement their IEP. It's amazing. How do I go about the school is fighting my son's IEP? All I'm asking to add is for hard copies of examples into a binder if I provide for them. So, I mean, the school would need to provide for them. They're providing the instructional things, but we can certainly get, completed examples. What about receiving speech services via screen? Nope, he didn't meet eligibility for speech services via a screen. We will wait till those can be delivered in person. Somebody told me that the executive director for Allen ISD position is open. Did y'all know that? I don't know what happened to Monty. Thanks, you guys. I'm trying to... what is the cost for the live 2-day in person? It's $12.97. Let's see. Any suggestions for... Oh, I see what you're doing, Lauren. You're typing them over there. Thank you. Can't find TDS for 10-year-old daughter. Can district pay for private? Districts don't pay for private placement when they cannot provide them an educational benefit, and you've agreed upon that probably through a settlement. For a copy of class notes, would it be sufficient if they're posted on Google Classroom? That's not a copy of notes. Yeah, a copy of notes is put into the little child's hand. Response to a parent who will only agree to services if they get a specific special education teacher. Yeah, that's not how this works. This is not a vending machine. So we agree to special ed services, not a single person. Have my first IEP meeting next week. Any suggestions? Write down all of your questions, your data, and your input. What is supposed to be right? Who is supposed to write what is needed in an IEP? The stakeholders, so the parent, the LEA representative, a general ed teacher, a special education teacher, and an evaluator, and anybody else. I've sent 2 IEP complaints to the state that were basically dismissed. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So on our website, Special Education Academy, we have a training for how to write amazing, powerful state complaints. You are welcome. Can a hearing officer suspend a child for 180 days if a child is being evaluated for a disability? Hearing officers don't just suspend children. They don't work in a school district. How to address a special education teacher bullying my terminally ill child? I would probably go up to the school immediately. Had my first IEP meeting with a parent who hired an advocate. I've never felt so talked down to. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't allow anybody to talk down to at a meeting. I would say it seems like you have a reason for talking to us like that. Would you be opposed to being professional in the meeting so we can work together? My daughter needed a VI teacher and has been without one since the beginning of the school year. So you're due compensatory time. Does elopement require a para? No, I mean, otherwise you're asking them to hire somebody that's a good runner. Elopement requires a more supported setting so that they don't have so much access to that option. The district's taking the recommendations from the IEE. What should be my next step? Oh, the district's not taking the next. They don't have to take the recommendations from the IEE. No district has any obligation to take a single recommendation from an IEE. They simply have to pay for it, listen to it, and put it in part of their cumulative file, which is why I'm not a big fan of IEEs. All your abilities are kind of taken away. Yeah, thanks for the gifts, you guys. I am all ears. Yeah. Yeah, you can get the book anywhere books are sold. Thanks, you guys, for making it amazing. How many of you guys have actually read the book or got it started? Thanks for the gifts, you guys. We're so glad you like it. We hope it's helpful. Is there a time between... anytime there are behavior teachers want to demand a para, but I can explain that that's not LRE. Yeah, LRE is the most appropriate setting to work on IEP goals. Sticking a para on somebody's hip is not really going to be successful long term. How do I go about requesting the cumulative file for a client? So you would have the parent request open records. That's a form that we have on Special Education Academy. You should join that. It is free for the first month. Oh, good. I'm glad you started it. School psychologist has missed 3 or 4 meetings for assessment. How do I get our IEP completed? You have to wait on the school psych, or you could call the district and see if there's somebody that can replace them for purposes of completing the evaluation. This charter school hearing officer told me I have no parent rights and put my child in 180-day suspension. Oh, suspended them from a charter school? That would be odd. What state and city was that? I've never heard of a hearing officer suspending a child. Hearing officers don't have any jurisdiction over discipline for children. I requested an evaluation, New Mexico, Albuquerque. Yeah. I would just send a letter to the director and say, the evaluator hasn't been available. So if we could get one that is available, that would be fantastic. My son reacted to a child bothering in the classroom. I was never called regarding the issue. Is it an ongoing issue or it just happened one time? I sent in a state complaint with my ombudsman. If the child has 2 disabilities, the primary disability have to have the most service minutes. It should not have less than the other service minutes, at least the same. Can a school deny classroom change because the class is capped? Well, if there's no openings in that classroom, then that wouldn't be an option. But we could certainly look at that same kind of classroom somewhere else. How can I go about getting the exact requirements I am to follow as a para in Louisiana? So The para handbook will be available at the end of the month. So we wrote the Epic IEP para handbook. It is available. It'll be for sale at the end of the month. We'll be shipping them out. I'm going to be in Louisiana Saturday and New Orleans to speak. 8th grade self-contained daughter is 6th grade levels behind in reading. District denies literature specialist. What kind of self-contained class? Is it life skills? Starting new IEP today. Awesome. Some schools have a designated discipline admin and call them a hearing officer. They are just school admins. Okay, so not like, okay, got it. I thought you meant like a hearing officer with the state. Yeah. I have a student graduating in June. They are in 12th grade. We've had a robust transition program. That is awesome. That is awesome. Somebody this weekend asked me what's a good transition resource, and that's going to be the Oregon Transition Resource Handbook. It's the best. So go get it. Any suggestions on what else we need to do? Yeah, Gina, just to make sure that you're connected with the agency, so the Workforce Commission, wherever you live. So in Texas, we have the Texas Workforce Commission, any agencies, any colleges that work with kiddos with disabilities. Let's see, rule for students in SPED being in specials with Gen Ed. We're told they all can be included. I mean, all can be included that are successful. When will you be in Dallas, Fort Worth? You would have to ask the IEP leader. The IEP leader is scheduling that. We have an event coming up in Dallas. We have a two event, April 11th in Houston. So a 9 a.m. and a 1 p.m. at St. Thomas College. Thanks you guys for the gifts. Yep, we will be everywhere. Where? Everywhere. We're going to be in San Francisco. I'm all for inclusion, just having a hard time getting the special teachers on board. Yeah. Could be some of those nasty videos that people put out. Have y'all seen the videos? Those kids need to go back in the room. Oh. So, let's see. Can accommodations be added to a 504 IEP for extracurricular activities like basketball or track? If it's part of a requirement for a grade, yeah. I was told our district wouldn't evaluate for a suspected disability because of truancy. Thoughts? Yeah. If the student has an attendance issue, then that's going to impact them. You guys say hi to Paige. She's my favorite daughter. Yeah, you gotta be at school to be tested. So absentee would impact that. Thanks you guys for all the gifts. Yep. So yes, I will be speaking this weekend in New Orleans, but not for the Epic IEP. It'll be for social media bosses. I love you too. What is the book about? The Epic IEP. It's writing. It's about a powerful playbook for parents, educators, and advocates navigating the IEP process. Let's see. No grade, completely optional sport. Parent wants accommodations. Oh no. If it's an optional sport and it's not tied to a grade, there's no requirement for IDEA to have accommodations. So, but like say you're in the marching band and you have to march on Friday nights and do Bandtober where we have competitions, and you would have to provide their accommodations during those times outside of the instructional day. Yep. Thanks you guys for all the gifts, and thank you for making the book #1 on Amazon, USA Today national bestseller, and Publishers Weekly bestseller. Thank you. Yes, the IEP leader will tell you when the Dallas date is. I can just guess, but I would be wrong. So we will be in Wilmington and Cincinnati, Ohio in July 30th and 31st. We will be in Lexington, Kentucky, May 30th and 31st. We will be in New York, August 8th, New Jersey, August 9th. Can I put on the IEP to have testing if it failed to be taken, if I failed to take again in general ed classes? If you want to retake, I mean, I think usually retaking a test is probably a part of a district standard, but yes, you could add that to the IEP. Daughter's in 5th grade, reading at grade level, barely 1st grade. What recommendation of failing a few subjects? I mean, I would recommend that she's in resource for that content area so she can catch up on those pieces. Kiddos in self-contained class for all of her curriculum. So it was the question, sorry, Galloway girl, was the question, can they be in general ed inclusion for specials? Sorry, the questions come really fast. Can they deny parents from reviewing raw data for goals? No. So in the federal law, because it's like federal, 300.613, it says anything maintained, kept, or used in the operation of a student is the record of the parent. So if a parent wants to see data, you have to show it to them. Like today, I was in a meeting, and they didn't have any data. So I asked them for data. They had mastered this goal at 65%. And actually, the goal was at 0%. Zero. So we have to look at the data. You have to look at the progress reports when we're writing an IEP. You know, usually when you get into a meeting, they just go, let's go straight to the present levels. I'm like, let's go to the IEP progress reports. Just got your book today. Thanks, you guys. I'm excited for you to read it. Don't forget that the inside of it, look, has all of these QR codes for you to get some more resources. And look, we get it right for the child. We get it right for everyone. How long do schools have to give over data? I mean, I give them a few days, but we're going to need the data as a group to make a decision. Yeah. Thank you for the gifts. No general ed, but wanting specialized instruction to close gap. Yeah, if she's in self-contained all day long, is she on an alternative curriculum? Can they change an IEP based off of a telephone call with only one parent present on the call? You can make an IEP amendment if the parent agrees and it doesn't include minutes or eligibility. What can I do if the district did the IEP without me during the school closure for weather? Well, that's illegal, so we'll have to reconvene and actually have that meeting. Silly school. What do you do if your child service provider never took data, like ever? No progress reports. So if there's no progress reports, no services were delivered. None, zippo, zilch. Let's see. How do I go about the schools finding my son's IEP? And all I'm asking to add is for hard copies and examples. Yeah, it's possible. Parent requests a PWNF for disagreement. What does that look like? So a prior written notice has to have 7 federal content and component areas. They never do. So if they don't, that's a failure of the district. Alternative curriculum, 8th grade, but 1st grade reading level. Yeah, so if it's an alternative curriculum, they're teaching functional reading, so that wouldn't be appropriate to have a reading interventionist because she hasn't been exposed to the depth and breadth of the state standards. And I would have assumed at some point you guys agreed on alternate curriculum. My school I work at has a data review team. Is that okay for placements? Is that legal? Sounds like that must be Florida. I mean, we have goofy stuff everywhere. You would have as many meetings as you want before the meeting, but we make decisions as a committee with the other main stakeholder, the parent, to make decisions. Thanks for the gifts, you guys. My daughter's on 504 because the school tries to talk me out of an IEP every time. Well, you need to talk them right back into an IEP. Talk them right back in. If your student needs instruction, they need an IEP. They said they attempted to contact me, but I told them via email that I couldn't do it while kids were home. Well, attempting to contact you and finding a mutually agreed upon time are two different things. You are obligated, the school's obligated to find a mutually agreed upon time. Can a reading specialist dismiss a student because of no growth, even if it's on a 504 plan? So reading growth is not part of a 504 plan. You are welcome. Yep, you can get these books wherever books are sold. And if you like the book, if you'll go give us a 5-star review on Amazon. If you don't like the book, if you'll give us a 5-star review on Amazon, that would be great. See how I did that? Yeah. I had somebody at a school district email today. We're trying to see if we can schedule a meeting or if you're going to be traveling with your book. I'm like, wow, sounds like somebody's in their feelings. We were traveling with the book. We met so many amazing people in West Virginia and Kentucky and Ohio. We met people from the juvenile justice system, from the hospitals, from the state. It was great. Do work in any places in Westchester County, New York. So we have clients all over. So I have plenty of clients in New York, and we'll be in Dutchess County, New York, November 8th. Do you recommend discontinue IEP or 504 or no? Well, I don't recommend discontinuing anything unless you can provide data that the student is no longer in need of it. Can a teacher certified in LBD teach a student classified as MSD? So we have so many acronyms. Either they're a credentialed teacher for the job posted or they are not. So every school district or county or city has to post a job and its credentials. Is it true that IEP is only for kids who are struggling academically? No, it's for kiddos that have an educational need. So academically, emotionally, behaviorally, functionally, communicative, all the things. Not sure what accommodation I can ask for when student with ASD is in preschool. So the accommodations are something extra about the IEP goals that we know that a student needs to be successful. So it wouldn't be based upon the name of the eligibility. It would be based upon the characteristics of that eligibility. Yeah, it was cold in Kentucky. And you guys were walking around with flip-flops and shorts. It was amazing. Is it typical for 504 to take an entire school year to be changed to an IEP? It is not unusual for people to drag their feet. MJ's World, hi! How are you? Thanks you guys for the follows and the likes and the loves and all the things in between. We just assume that it's all love, right? Who would be mad at about an epic IEP? Who would be mad about that? No one, I tell you. Is a 504 free for the school and why they don't offer an IEP, which costs school money? So that's a great question, Nicole. There's an article, a series in the Houston Chronicle, September 2016, called Denied. A 504 costs a district $0 to $2 a year. IEP somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000. So you tell me. Yeah, if you have a more specific question on, and you're on the talk at the bottom, there's an orange box and you can send a direct message there. But yes, we just opened a live due day in person May 30th and 31st in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll cap it out at 100. But we're super excited. It's going to be in person. We haven't done it in person in so long. It's going to be fun. Does the school district have to approve an IEP to be put into place? The IEP committee has to approve it. Suggestions I want to ask the school to get from help to close reading deficit. Yeah, so I would probably get Learning Ally, ALLY, and I would start with that at home. What do you think of recent teacher strike in San Francisco? So I don't know about the recent teacher strike in San Francisco, although one of our team members this weekend was from San Francisco, and I understood that they were offered something goofy for their raise, and they said they would strike. So I don't know anything about that. Are they sure not wanting to give him an aid? Give me a little more information around that, Judy. I know you guys know that I'm not a fan of an aid. I'm certainly a fan of support, but not all day long. Thanks you guys for the gifts. And thanks you guys for finishing the first stage of the fan club. Woo! I don't know if I hit a button, something's going to happen. So thanks you guys. Yeah, we will be in so many places. I'm looking to be on a panel right now for South by Southwest. Next week I'm going to be at a panel for Baylor College of Medicine for some fellows, which is not the opposite of girls. See how I did that? Yeah. Not credentialed, but helping people that are becoming doctors. It's exciting. Yeah, I will know if I'm going to be at South by Southwest. It'll either be the 7th, 8th, or 9th of March in Austin. The school is 1 week late after 60 days, after the 60-day assessment. Yeah, I would just get back to the table as quickly as possible. I just started my job as a paraprofessional today for a kiddo that has an IEP and a BIP. Well, thank you for serving that kiddo. What are your thoughts on the way discipline has gotten out of control? Yeah, so there's a document from OSEP about disciplinary requirements that gives us guidance. I think so many things have gotten out of control, right? Can paraprofessionals deliver specially designed instruction minutes? Specially designed instruction minutes must be initially delivered by a certified credentialed special educator. A paraprofessional, depending on the need, can replicate or repeat the specially designed instruction after it's initially provided. Yep, so the paraprofessional book, the Epic IEP Paraprofessional, will be for sale February 28th. What a short month this is going to be, right? We only have 11 more days of February. Can y'all believe that? Do you recommend if failing subjects, reading level first grade should be kept in the fifth grade? I'm not a fan of retention after first or second kindergarten, but certainly maybe a more supported setting. Can a student be taken off of an alt assessment with the only data being from state testing? So the alt assessment is because they are delivered alternative curriculum during the day. When a student moves to a district, is the full annual IEP needed if it was completed 1/6/2026? No, they're just going to continue to implement the IEP as agreed upon. They have 30 school days to evaluate it and see if they believe that the exact services are appropriate or if they need to do more testing. Minutes for afternoon reduced. If you're asking me if we can reduce afternoon minutes, all minutes or eligibilities have to have a convened IEP. I'm his disability aide now. He's just near and dear to me. Yeah, tell me what your question is altogether, Judy. It just kind of keeps breaking them up. Essentially, the admin refuses to process referrals so that our members don't show a problem. Our numbers don't show a problem. Yeah, that's illegal and unethical, and it's gross. It's just gross. I'm allergic to gross. So you got to get somebody to stand up, tell them how it is, or get a really good mouthy advocate to come do a press conference. Fellow IEP and SPED paramom trying to decide between grad school for teaching versus school psychology. Ooh, that's a big decision. So, I don't know. Nice problem to have, right? You're quite the smarty pants. Yep, go get the IEP wherever books, the Epic IEP wherever books are sold. It's a powerful playbook for parents, educators, and advocates navigating the IEP process. Son is on IEP and we keeps getting suspended for behavior, 7-year-old. At 7 suspensions, you need to have a manifestation determination resolution meeting. It is a really big decision. I'm struggling. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go wrong with getting your psychology directive if you ask me. But you didn't, or did you? I think you did. I would do whatever you think has the most impact. I've learned so much from you, and I'm a special education para. Oh, thanks, honey. School cite more opportunities outside of school setting. There you go. I'm definitely asking. Yeah, I would go psych route. My daughter's school took her testing modifications away without letting me know. Yeah, that's, you've been a witness to a crime. Students are nonverbal and a runner and a climber and a wanderer. I wonder how much more county does not want to give me an aid. Yeah, he definitely needs support. Probably needs a more supported setting. Is there a separate test for math? Why do so many students qualify for reading but not math? Because we don't look at their unique circumstances. The law says that we look at their unique circumstances, not their eligibilities. Even if failing minutes reduce IEP for pullout, now I have one staff come to assist me a few minutes. Yeah, even then. Yeah. Oh my gosh, these things pop up. I shouldn't touch it. We're missing the great Cindy tonight. Cindy usually helps me, but I was not here Monday. I was on a plane. So when we don't go live, I miss you guys. I know you miss me terribly. Do you miss me? Of course you do. If I think you do, you do. Thanks for the follows, you guys. Thanks for the gifts. Yep, the Epic IEP. We are super excited about it. New book coming out at the end of the month, the Epic IEP Paraprofessional Guide. And we already have out the Epic IEP Law Book and state statutes. So it's all in one book. You can order that now. Yep. So live 2-day virtual, March 7th and 8th. So live 2-day virtual. So wherever you are, if you want to take the 2-day in person, that will be March 7th and 8th. So just in a couple of weeks. We will be live. So you can log on from the Kodiak Islands to Miami-Dade, Florida. You get a workbook. You get the recording forever and ever. She says we've had more curriculum casualties related to realizing because of balanced literacy approaches. Yeah. What does the virtual entail? Would it be good for a special ed PD? Oh, absolutely. So it's a 2-day intensive. It's everything that you know to be an amazing advocate, however you sit at the table, and at the end you'd be ready to be an advocate if you were ready to pivot. But it gives you all the information and training that you need that you never got when you got into a school district. My 10-year-old with autism has his recess taken from him for non-completion of schoolwork. Happens a lot. That's illegal. So recess is a state requirement. I don't know what teacher would keep a little kid in from recess. Like, that's not very bright, right? After reevaluation, do I have to attend an IEP meeting even if I'm requesting an IE? Yeah. When they've done a reevaluation, you have to attend that meeting. You have to capture your position. And certainly if you're going to disagree with the data summary and conclusion and request an IE, you would want to do that inside of that convened meeting. If a school nurse can't support a child with seizures, what do you do? Goes home daily. So it's not a school nurse's responsibility. If your child needs full-time nursing, that's certainly something. But nursing is not usually assigned to a child that has seizures, because a nurse at the school is for care and prevention. And so if there's seizures, we would have, responsive medication. But if you believe that nursing is what he needs, then you would need to ask for that as a related service. And obviously the school nurse serves all of the kiddos in the district at that campus. So you guys want to guess how many pieces of luggage I took to Kentucky? Anybody want to guess? How many pieces of luggage? You guys just guess. For a child with ADHD, would you recommend assigning to be divided into chunks or just request reduced work? So it depends on the acuity of their disability. Somebody said 5. It was less than 5 pieces of luggage. It was more than 3. It was less than 10. 45,000. Nonverbal preschooler is not being taken potty every 45 minutes, even though it's on his IEP. Then he's being denied FAPE. It was not 45,000 pieces of luggage. It was 4. And then I sent home like bags of used clothing with somebody that was there who's going to mail them back, and I got it down to 3. So when you check in 3 bags at the airport, the first bag was free because I'm preferred. The second bag was $35. The third bag, you guys want to guess how much the third bag was? I was shocked at the cost of the third bag. You guys guess how much my third piece of luggage was? I just wrote an IEP for a child with ADHD. What was the answer to that question? Yeah, you look at the characteristics of that ADHD, right? $60, $80. It was 45,000 suitcases. Molly says $75. Nope. How much was the third suitcase? $100? Nope. Nope. How much was the third suitcase? The first one was free. The second one was $35. $200? No. $120? Nope. $160? Nope. $250? No. You guys are doing better. $25? No. $45? Nope. $350? No. It was $150. I about fell over. I know. I was like, oh, maybe it could just have its own seat on the plane. Yeah, it needed its own ticket. I could have just it could sit in the seat next to me. So, but if you're going to have 9 stops, you have to have 9 outfits and 9 shoes and 9 pants. And Alan didn't understand all that. Yeah, it did need its own ticket. I went to mail clothes ahead of time to Kentucky, but I waited till the Saturday before, and they were going to mail it for $310, and I would have paid it, except for my husband was standing there, and he said, "That's ridiculous. We're not going to pay that." I'm like, "We aren't? You always look so put together." Thank you. Are teachers legally required to do observations for a student being brought up? I mean, we would need observations to have data points, for sure. Yeah. And then I squeezed everything down into 2 checked luggages. One was 47 pounds, one was 49. I was so excited. I think it's cheaper just to go buy more clothes. I know, but they would have to be my clothes and they would have to fit. And Morning Flower, Alan didn't want us to spend so much time shopping. And I didn't spend a lot of time shopping. I'm not really a shopper, I'm a buyer. So I go in, I get it, and I leave. As a teacher, it becomes frustrating creating IEP for students I never interact with. Yeah. I don't know why we have people creating IEPs for students they don't work with. It's crazy. Nicole, are you a case manager? Is that why you're doing that? Yes. Yeah. How many kiddos do you have on your caseload, Nicole? We'll guess 43. For an IEE, would you go with the school list? I would go with somebody who does IEEs regularly for the school district. Have you ever taught? Have I ever taught what? Nicole has 16 kids on her caseload. Is it elementary school, Nicole, junior high, high school? I have taught. I've taught so many things. I've taught at school districts. I've taught nationally. I've taught here. Just seems impossible to do a minute-by-minute observation on a student when you have 28 students. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to do minute by minute. Have you ever taught special education in schools? I have. I've been brought in to do professional development, special education for school districts. 2 different schools, elementary. Okay. Just drive to Lexington. I did with the tribe. It's 16 hours there with Little Rock halfway. Okay. If your child graduated high school reading at a 5th grade level after years of IEP services and being, is there TK Sun FBA IEP tomorrow? They want one-on-one tips for the parent. I mean, I would just say, that has a very big harmful effect. Were you ever a special education teacher? Morgan, do you think I was a special education teacher? Hi, IEP Queen. Hi, Molly. I was never a special education teacher. God bless teachers. Is one-on-one harmful? So one-on-one is hard to tell who's doing what, and it sets up learner dependency. I've never had a kiddo that we couldn't fade some of the minutes, but to give all 375 or 400 instructional minutes one-on-one, you'd have to have a really good reason. And the only reason that I would have for that would be safety. And if the student needs one-on-one in a setting, then he probably needs a more supportive setting. Thanks for the gifts, you guys. Thanks for the gifts. Can you use coupon Angie for $300 off? You can. 30 years of it as an advocate and hundreds of PDs in schools. Yep. Like it. I love it. We did 2 professional developments for school districts this last weekend. When a 6th grader with an IEP is reading at a kindergarten level, what services should schools provide? Resource. Thank you for answering. My teacher bestie and I talk about you all the time. Oh, you're welcome. Have you ever been an advocate for someone at a CSE meeting for pay or something like that? My services are fee-based, but yeah. It's frustrating when the team comes in a day of the IEP for a day to get data on a kid. Yeah. Woo. How did your first professional developments go at a school? They went phenomenal. It's me. It's them. They love me. I get it. My daughter's at 504. Can I start an IEP myself? Yeah, you can, identify what services they need and IEP goals. Hi, what would be the need for an SLP and an OT? If you met one of the 9 areas in speech and language impairment, educational setting, or occupational therapy for sensory and or written expression. They liked it, Molly. They liked it. One-on-one has not been provided for students since first day of school. I feel so bad but they are out of compliance. I think it's going to say compliance. We didn't get in Kentucky. We didn't get any more of those uranium glassware, Alan. We forgot to do that. One of my clients sent me some uranium so I could collect salt and pepper shakers. I have hundreds of them. And she sent me some uranium salt and pepper shakers and a black light flashlight. They glow. One of my questions during my interview was, do you offer special education PD sessions? Didn't work there. One of my questions during my interview didn't work there. I don't know if I understand what that means. You said sensory and fine motor, written expression. We didn't have time. We had time. We had time for more shopping. Currently in my last year of college for dual licensure, elementary education, special education. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. You got Blazers instead. I got a couple of blazers and a couple of coats and a couple of earrings, but it's not instead, it's both. When they've said we've offered them in the past, I've declined the job there. Oh, okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, I don't think there should be a limit on shopping. How can I advocate when my school was cited by the state for too many special ed kids? It depends on the specificity of the need. How can push and SDI minutes be counted from additional behavior support needed throughout the day? It's a different educational product, right? Maybe if we had a better driver. Yeah, I have a caseload of 30 sixth graders. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of kiddos that smell like Axe body spray. 30 sixth graders, God bless you. Should never be a limit on shopping. Yeah, Molly. Thanks, Alan. Molly said there shouldn't be a limit. Yeah, 30 kiddos is crazy. Crazy. Thank you, though, for serving those kiddos. Make sure that every one of those parents give you a gift. You know, we have Teacher Appreciation Week. We need Related Service Provider Week. We need Paraprofessional Week. Don't forget to get something for your paraprofessionals and your evaluators and your case managers. Is prompting a kid or redirecting specially designed instruction, it's accommodation, so it's part of it. What can we do? What can we do, Casey, about what? Cassie. Love your book. Oh, good. If you love the book, will you go give us a review on Amazon? Please. That would be great. Yeah, the workbook is coming out in a couple weeks. You guys wanted a workbook? All the teachers said, we want a workbook, play our song. Yeah. You know, it's a popular book because about 10 million people have written a fake workbook on Amazon, and we just light them up like Christmas Eve. But the workbook should be done at the end of the month, too. I know you want a workbook. All the teachers want their workbook. Yeah. Thanks, you guys, for the gifts. Thanks for sharing the video. Thanks for logging on. We put out 52 pieces of content every day so that you guys have the information. We want you to be informed. There was a lot of informing this weekend. We trained hundreds of people, lots of tears, lots of hugs. It was great. When a fourth grade student's reading and math levels are first grade levels, what can be done in the classroom to help them access the curriculum? They need to be in resource. There's no meaningful benefit of sitting in a class with fourth grade standards when you produce on a first grade level. We need to get them in resource, 300.115, page 20 and 21 of the federal code, so that they can work in a slower rate to pick up those foundational skills. Thanks for sharing the video. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the love. I feel you have 32 on the caseload, third graders, fourth and fifth. Ooh. What types of supports and services can I request for my ADHD son? Non-attentive. He gets really stressed at how much work he has to do. We don't need an accommodation. We need to reduce the learner expectation. What is resource? When is resource recommended that's getting general ed? So when a student is multiple years behind in grade levels. Do you service California? I do. Hashtag SELPA. We're going to be in San Francisco the last week of April doing some trainings. You guys come see us. And for sure in Sacramento, I don't know if we're going to make Sacramento that same weekend, but definitely in June. What's the best way to approach the school about not implementing the IEP? I would call an IEP meeting, and I would just say I'm concerned that we're not delivering the IEP as codified. What is resource? Resource is a classroom setting with solely disabled peers that are a few or multiple years behind academically. Can I reject speech services if they're being delivered virtually? Well, yeah, I wouldn't reject the speech services. I would just say we will wait till the services can be implemented in person. Will you come to New York? I'm going to Dutchess County, New York, Saturday, August 8th. Felt super defeated. I'm so sorry. I know. Just get up. We ride at dawn. Is resource still general education? No, it's special education. It's under it's under supplementary aids and services. Missouri, I don't think we have anything booked in Missouri yet, but I think we're working on something in St. Louis. Will you come to Oklahoma? I love Oklahoma. I live in Texas. My son is a professional bowler. We are in Oklahoma all the time. Is a resource available in every school? Yep. It's available in every school, every campus, every grade. Will you come to Dayton, Ohio? I'm going to be in Wilmington and Cincinnati, Ohio, the 30th and 31st of July. Yes, I'm in St. Louis. Please do. Okay. Unlike poo, just email us and we'll get you that information. If you go to our website and go to the bottom, there's the Epic IEP book tour bus. Just click your information. Can I still file due process post-graduation? Many violations. There's not going to be a remedy. Nevada, we are going to Nevada for a different conference. So once we secure that date, we'll probably have an event there in Vegas. What is your opinion on districts not allowing paraprofessionals in classroom to access the IEPs? Well, that's stupid. How can you support the special ed and general ed teacher if you didn't see the ding-dong paperwork? Oh, I just think that when you have people at the meeting, you should just bring a spray bottle and spray them. You know, like when you have a new puppy and they bark, you spray them. It's for their own good. I think we need to make an Epic IEP spray bottle. You guys want that? Yeah. This sort of stuff is the reason I have IEPs online, so I don't karate chop anybody. Districts not allowing paraprofessionals to see the IEP. That would make it hard to implement the IEP if you couldn't see it. All right, we'll take a few more questions. How to request resource? Wilmington and Columbus. I feel like those are the same thing. Yeah, you would call an IEP meeting. 300.115 is resource. How much to sit in an IEP meeting? So we have a team of partner advocates, and it just depends on what that advocate's rate is. It depends on what you need. Can you go into more detail on your answer, please? My answer about what in previous classroom? So resource and self-contained the same? Nope, self-contained is where you can have your entire instructional day delivered. Resource is usually for language, arts, reading, and math. They bully me in IEP meetings. I know, I'm sorry. That's why you need support. My daughter's school doesn't have resource, either self-contained or gen ed. Well, they're in violation of the law. I went to your training on Saturday in Huntington. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Oh, thank you, Kelly. What advice do you have in schools pushing an online curriculum for 2E rather than adequate services? The problem with 2E is it exceeds the state requirements for education. Educational requirement is solely general education. So while I wouldn't be excited about that, it still is, doable. Pool noodle. Yeah, the pool noodle or the spray bottle. I went to your profile on the site in the link tree. Yes. Do you like to do more info trainings for para? Do I ever do more info trainings for paras? Yeah, so we've done some para webinars. And as soon as the book comes out at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a training on the para book. So we'll have a webinar for that. Angie sent me an email about that. What indicates need for resource room setting is more complex than being captured here? Ask school. It's not more complex. When a student is multiple years behind academically, then they need resource. You can't just keep having a child multiple years behind in gen ed. When is approached to have a tertiary eligibility? When they meet eligibility. You're going to have kids that have 4 or 5 eligibilities. So resource and self-contained are the same. No, resource it's on the continuum of services. It's supplementary aid. So if you look on page 21 of the federal law book, it talks about those. What if they refuse the findings of the IE? They're allowed to refuse them. I felt super defeated. I'm so sorry. How can I advocate for a mild 9th grader CI student? Don't know what CI is. On my caseload without backlash from admin. He's been in our charter school since kinder director. What is CI? What advice do you have for someone entering education and new to IEPs? Just remember your who. Don't remember your why, but your who is those students that you're serving. Where do I find your email? Our email is advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. It depends on the measure being used to establish how far they're behind. Some measures are exaggerated. How many years have you taught? A gazillion. I have taught a gazillion. How do I know to request them, but the teacher doesn't help? Yeah, you might need help. You might want to join the academy. We talk about all these questions every Monday night. CI is communication impaired. It's a classification. Okay, so communication impaired. And then what was the question around CI? Okay, I have a 9th grader. I mean, if they have a communication impairment, that would go through the SLP, right? The speech and language pathologist. The self-contained classrooms in Georgia, well, Lamar County, are 12 plus kids. Yeah, they're using a lot of kiddos. All right, so we're going to jump off. Thanks, you guys, for the questions. Remember, join us in Special Education Academy. It's every Monday night. The first month is free. We have over 400 hours archived. So if you just joined for the first month, you would get so many resources. We have our 2-day live virtual coming up March 7th and 8th, and then a 2-day live in person May 30th and 31st in Lexington, Kentucky. Can my daughter take her IEP with her to college? You can take components of it called the accommodation. So remember, when you get it right for the child, you get it right for everybody. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for giving us the love. Go to our website if you want to be a host location, and we will see you guys on the road. Thanks, you guys.
Hit subscribe, share this with a friend, and you know what? Meet me back here every single week. We're not just talking about change, we're making it. Because when you know better, you do better. And when we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody.